Right time now for business, and fuel prices have gone up again for the second time this month. Emmanuel Baje, you are here to tell us all about it.
Yes,
good evening to you.
Good evening, Izzy. How are you doing?
I'm well.
It's very unfortunate, but it looks like we still have to endure, this hardship. And it's not going to end anytime soon because prices on the global market, crude market,
keep going up.
Exactly. And if nothing is done about it, then I wonder what's going to happen.
Well, in our case, because we're also producing crude oil, we can say that, we're going to be earning more from our crude oil.
However, but we are in a deregulated market, and the amount of crude that we get from the Jubilee fields is not, or wouldn't meet the total demand.
We're net importers,
yes, of course. Yeah.
Right, you take it.
Thank you very much, and thanks for joining me on Business. Prices at some filling stations are said to have gone up as the second pricing window for the month of January opened today. Joy Business checks at some stations in Accra revealed petrol is selling for between 18 Ghana cedis and 20 Ghana cedis per gallon. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union has hinted of an imminent transport fare increase as petrol prices keep going up. Charles Aite monitored prices at the filling stations and our reports.
The year began with the first pricing window seeing crude oil prices surge from 9% to 11%. In this very situation, as the second pricing window begins today, which happens to be in the very second week of January 2017, we gauge various fuel pumps as we ask car owners what exactly the situation is. Have fuel prices increased, or they're still on the low side? My first stop was at a Shell filling station in Accra. Here, some car owners expressed frustration over the sudden hike in fuel prices. Their problem is why another increase barely 2 weeks when petrol prices were increased.
It has increased.
How much?
About 2 cedi.
So the very first time you bought it, how much was it?
It was 18. It was 18 for a gallon, but now it's 2 cedi.
Are you surprised by that?
It's now 20 cedi.
When you go to the fuel station, you see that the price has gone high, and you need the fuel, so you can't say you won't buy it. Definitely, you have to buy it.
So at first, how much were you buying, and how much is it selling now?
I was buying 120 cedis every week, and now it's gone up to 130 cedis every week.
We increased, I think, last week or something. That's what I...
By how much?
It's now 4 point something. I can't, unless I look at the word. I know it was around between 3, 6 or something, but now it's gone up.
Yeah. So are you concerned?
Yeah, because actually if something is around 3.6 or 3.4 and now almost 4 points something cedi per liter, you can imagine.
I think it has slightly.
At first, how much was it, and now how much are you buying for 1 gallon?
I used to be 18 cedis, but now it's somewhere around 20 cedis for a gallon.
All right, okay. So are you expecting it to be on the high side, or you are hoping that it should be on the low side?
Well, since there's a change in government, I'm hoping that it will come down. Since there will be a reduction in taxes, I'm hoping and praying that it will affect the fuel also.
All right. Meanwhile, the hike in fuel prices is expected to affect the overall pricing of goods and services. Kwame Ajapon operates a washing bay in Accra. He tells me already the hike in fuel prices has seen the cost of washing cars show up from 9 cedis as at 2016 to 10 cedis currently.
Here, the saloon car is 8 cedis and the 4x4 is 10 cedis.
Has it always been that?
No, actually it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that.
How much
Before
was it?
Last year, the saloon car was 7 cedis and the 4x4 was 8 cedis. But now, seeing the difference, the saloon car has now jumped to 8 cedis and the Land Cruiser and other stuff is now 10 cedis.
Why? Why have you increased the prices?
Actually, due to economic distance, since you see petrol, the price for fuel has gone up.
The Ghana Road Coordinating Council prepares to meet with the Transport Ministry and other stakeholders over a possible increase in transport fares this year. For Joy.
Meanwhile, the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors is justifying the recent increase in fuel prices. Speaking on Business Live this evening, CEO of the Chamber, Senor Hossi, said recent developments on the global market as well as the cedi depreciation have accounted for this phenomenon.
They are justified. I do not see any basis for any sort of market abuse by the private sector. It's purely a function of what's happening on the world market and our local currency depreciation. The movements in the FX rate and also the movements on the world market. In the world market, move quite significantly. I think about 6-7% in some cases. I may have to update that position as of today and then advise properly. You also have had the exchange rates also move quite appreciably. So that these two factors are heavily influencing what you're going to have at home. But there's one thing that everybody needs. The prices at the pump today are much, much lower than would have been if government was still regulating the price and probably was saying there were no subsidies. The prices you have today are much lower than that. And that's quite a good sign of the success of the new regulation policy.
So essentially, the marginal increases we are seeing now are justified?
Yes.
So Senior Hossi was speaking with my colleague Darrell Kwao on Business Live. Away from petroleum, government's decision to review aspects of Ghana's program with the IMF has not gone down well with some stakeholders in the economy. The new administration is expected to start renegotiating aspects of the IMF program when it opens formal talks with the fund next month. For some of these stakeholders, they are worried about signals the move will send to investors and donors over the administration's commitment to stabilizing the economy. Economist Dr. Eric Osesibo says government must tread cautiously with the review because of its impact on the economy.
To trust you. And that also could have implication for the IMF program, the ECF program. Yes.
And talking about the IMF program, there are proposals for the new administration to engage the fund to tweak some aspects of it. For you, do you think it's justified or we should let sleeping dogs lie?
Well, some aspects I think can be renegotiated, particularly with regard to central bank financing. I think I've always had a view that the 0% financing is too severe, is too strict. We are a developing economy, and at least some level of injection is necessary, if only you back it with production, to reduce the impact on inflation. I'm sure the economy will be able to accommodate that. But to move from about 10-15% straight to zero will definitely going to shock the economy. And so that can be negotiated. But I do not expect that the incoming government, or I don't anticipate that the incoming government would have a comprehensive review, because if they're going to go with comprehensive review, it cannot have some kind of credibility issue, some kind of policy consistency issue and coherence issue, because, like I said, many potential investors have actually built their confidence levels around the 3-year program, and they're actually looking at certain key targets that have been set, for them to make certain investment decisions, or for them to might have done certain investment decisions. And so when you are going to throw the entire program out of gear or restart a new program, I think definitely it's going to have credibility issue, policy consistency, and all that is come to go up. And even development partners will tend to look at the government in a certain way. And so I think that that will not be a good direction to go. What the new government can do is to sit down with the IMF, look at the nitty-gritties, the areas that do not really align with their manifesto, particularly in regard to tax cuts in certain areas.
Take urgent steps to revive the agricultural sector of the economy if the targeted growth is to be effectively achieved. That's the advice of the Chief Executive Officer of Dalex Finance, Ken Thompson, to the new government. He was speaking in an interview with Joy Business.
The new administration has announced plans to empower the private sector to lead in the country's economic recovery agenda. As part of initiatives to achieve this goal, it has emphasized its commitment to cut taxes for businesses. Mr. Thompson, however, explains agriculture should rather be placed at the center of the agenda.
As agriculture, private sector, private sector, private sector. Create jobs and let real incomes rise. And I don't want to know about the statistics. Don't tell me about GDP because nobody knows and nobody cares. Don't tell me about deficit because nobody knows, nobody cares.
And so it's about jobs and it's about incomes in the pockets of people.
I mean, we spent the last, I don't know whether it's 6, 7, 8, 9 years, all we read about GDP grew by this, we talk about 10, we talk about Sajifo. Do we care? I don't care. I really couldn't care less. I don't care. All I care, because, you know, I sell money. If the productive sector is revived, if people have real incomes, I'll sell more money. How difficult is that?
He asked that President...
And that's all in business. Thank you very much for watching, and do join me again same time tomorrow for more interesting developments in the world of business. My name is Emmanuel Apuachi. There's more ahead. Don't go away.